It's gonna be a restaurant on the first level and apartments up top.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Well, that's gonna be great. But you know what everybody's saying.
What's that?
What you think they say?
I don't know.
Push us on out of here.
No, that's not the case. You know.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hi, we are Kjome. We represent Ethiopian culture. Kjome is beautiful. It represents your inner beauty and your authentic self. We sell Ethiopian coffee, spices, teas, and home goods. And lately, the pop-up here has been successful. We have a food pop-up. We are originally a food pop-up, so we do have cooking classes and coffee ceremonies, but we are definitely enjoying our time here and just sharing the Ethiopian culture with Detroit.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So now I gotta buy something. What's up, people? Eddy Carrington, Mayor of Flux City. I'm in the Mayor Mobile, so it's a little bouncy and loud. But just leaving Rosa Cafe in Grandmont, Rosedale. Really good coffee there. If you're ever on that side of town, check out Rosa. But just chiming in, headed to the site today. Had a busy week. So it's Friday, and this is really the first time I had a chance to come check the site out. So a number of things happened, including a presentation that I did for Capital Impact's Equitable Development Initiative cohort. I'm part of cohort 2 from 2019, and they got a new group of I think 15-ish or so amazing up-and-coming developers from Detroit taking part of this year's cohort. So I had a chance to talk a little bit about my project, my past, sources and uses, and numbers, things that I learned, and a few things that I recommend they consider on their journey. But that was pretty cool to do, having an opportunity to try my best at giving an overall picture of Flux City, myself, my history, current projects, in one sitting. And I'm such a scatterbrained individual that I felt like I was all over the place, but it was good. It was a good experience for me, as I hope to be able to shed light on the development process from my perspective, ultimately helping individuals that look like me or have never thought about development as a career or as a full-time gig, look at it as something that they can try their hand at. So it was pretty cool to kind of highlight a number of things. But one thing I pointed out to the group was how I've been full-time real estate since March of 2023, which was the same month that I closed on the construction loan. Prior to that, I had a full-time job mostly all of my adult life. I've tried my hand at going full-time tech founder for a very short stint, but that didn't last. I had a few concepts that didn't take off the way we wanted them to, and I went back into the workforce. But real estate's different. This is, something that I always looked at as a side hustle for, since the early 2000s, when it was introduced to me by the clients that I had working at the bank, mostly GM, Chrysler, Ford, from the big three, who bought into single-family real estate and looked at their real estate portfolio as a form of retirement, and kind of worked on it on the side when they got off of work, and things of that nature. But having an opportunity to be introduced to developers that look like me through the Equitable Development Initiative, through Capital Impact's program that focuses primarily on helping minorities or developers of color level up in real estate, really expanded my mind to a point where I started to believe that, hey, if the Cliff Browns and the Richard Hoseys are able to accomplish what they're accomplishing, maybe I can do it too. So shout out to Capital Impact. I love what they're continuing to do with the Equitable Development Initiative. Shout out to the current cohort. I was happy to hear that a few people from that cohort watch some of my videos, which is always good to hear. A lot of times I'm just recording and not necessarily focused on the people or the number of views that these videos get. But when I do come across people who tell me that they watched the video or a video of mine, make me feel pretty good. But so once again, I appreciate those folks that chime in here and there and catch an episode or two when they have the time to do so. But once again, shout out to Capital Impact, and I'm almost at the site here, so to spare you a bit of this bumpy ride, I'll see you soon. Well, it looks like DTE came and installed the new pole for the project. It's a brand new, spanking new pole for the electricity or electrical that will be supplied to the ribbon development. But we still have not connected it yet. Looks like they'll be coming back over the next few weeks to knock out that task, but no official power to the site as of yet. We're still using temporary power from that pole a little bit further out there. I'll zoom in and see if you can see. But we're pulling temp power from this pole. Alright, so the utility rooms are being framed up, as we can see. Looks pretty good. And this is where the power is going to go, water, elevator, access for servicing, low voltage like internet, all of that good stuff will be housed in this area here. So looks really, really good. Can't wait to see this drywalled up. And that's the entryway from the main entrance to the retail space. So the tenants that live in this building will be able to have direct access to the commercial space without having to leave the building. Isn't that pretty cool? They came and washed the brick down a few weeks ago. Looks pretty good, nice and clean. Hoping that the contractors don't dirty it up again, but it's inevitable. We'll probably have to come back and do a little bit of cleanup when we're almost done with the project. But for the most part, the brick looks good. Yep. So we weren't able to track down a shutoff for the old water line, and it was partly because we think they covered it up when they put this new sidewalk in back in 2021. So whoever installed this sidewalk at that point covered up the shutoff valve of the water line that was once located where this slab of concrete is. So the city had to come out, and instead of busting up this concrete, they shut it off from here. And it looks like they had to uproot one of my precious trees, which I'm kind of upset about, because these trees actually really added a nice touch to the project. So for them to actually rip my tree out like this, I'm kind of disappointed, but I also understand that they had to do what they had to do. But I really was hoping that we could save these trees in order to sorry about that. Some hogs came by with some pretty loud sound systems, but I was really hoping to save these trees from this fate, and unfortunately we weren't able to do so. How you doing? Good. You live on Kensington?
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm the developer here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, am I making too much noise?
I don't know. I live in the next block.
Okay, good. Okay, I just
I
wanted.
don't think nobody's complaining
Good, I appreciate it.
at
How long have you been with or living on Kensington for?
About 35 years.
Good.
On the house that long.
Nice.
Now, what is this gonna be?
It's gonna be a restaurant on the first level and apartments up top.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Well, that's gonna be great. But you know what everybody says.
What's that?
What you think they say?
I don't know.
Push us on out of here.
No, that's not the case. You know, this is 100% affordable. And so my goal is to hopefully, you know, keep it to a point where we're not gentrifying the community by any means. It's more so beautifying it. And, you know, at the end of the day, East English Village is a pretty diverse neighborhood as it is. So,
And everybody gets along with everybody. It's hardly any squabbles, you know.
yeah,
I guess, you know, cooperate with each other.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Be careful on that stick. Yeah, we had to pull this tree up.
I know. I stood here and looked at these feet the other day for the longest. I said the wind didn't do it. I said that's uprooted.
I was pretty upset because we had to shut off the water line, but whoever put the concrete down covered up the shutoff valve,
Oh,
and so unfortunately the city had to uproot this tree. But I was hoping to keep it as a part of the project, due to, you know, just how beautiful these trees are
they
and how
are.
uniform they are. You got these two here and then the ones across the street. So, but I appreciate you stopping by and saying
You
hi.
got a good eye.
All right, have a good one now. Looks like this shaft is almost completed. Some of the services will go in that shaft there, as well as this one. So these needed to be drywalled at this point. Electricians doing their job here. What's going on, boss? Good, good. A couple of guys over there talking about AI. Interesting when you have people of the trades talking about AI taking over the world. Here we got the elevator shaft. Still not too much work done on this as of yet, but this will be something that first quarter of 2024 we start putting a little bit more energy into. At one point I picked with my GC because this brick wasn't cleaned. This section where I'm aiming the camera at on the roof or over the roof wasn't cleaned at one point, so I gave him a bit of a hard time, jokingly, because it was really just a very small portion of the brick that wasn't cleaned. It looks like he had him clean it. He looks like he had the masons come back and clean it, or he did it himself. So shout out to Ian. I wasn't giving you a hard time on that, but I appreciate you cleaning that up for us. And the view of East Warren, what a view. What a beautiful, beautiful corridor. What a beautiful city. And of course the mayor mobile. Sitting there looking pretty. So this roof costed me $168,000. That's a pretty expensive roof, isn't it? Which is why I always come up here and make sure I put my set of eyes on it. This was an expensive expense. But they did a good job. And so making sure that it's shored up as best as it needs to be at this point, because I'm always concerned about any project, any house that I've invested in. The roof is one of the things that is of high priority, and making sure it's done right is important. But these guys, these contractors know what they're doing. This is my first time spending $168,000 on a roof, but interesting conversation with a neighbor that lives on the block of the development that I'm working on here in the east side. And one of the concerns that she basically was highlighting was that this development would bring about gentrification in one format or another. She didn't mention the word gentrification, but that is basically what she was kind of highlighting, where the makeup of the community may change. This is a predominantly black city and neighborhood, and one of the concerns was that the makeup would change, and or this development was not necessarily meant for the people that are currently making up the community that we're developing within. And that was pretty intriguing, pretty interesting to hear. But it's not the first time I've heard that from individuals from the community, because of what we're seeing happening downtown, midtown, where in those areas you do have developments that ultimately push out current residents, increase rent, and when these new redevelopments open back up, the individuals that may have lived in those areas and or buildings aren't able to afford those types of rents anymore for one reason or another. Well, I wanted to reassure her that this development is not that, right? We're doing 100% affordable units, from day one. And our primary focus is really to allow for individuals that meet a certain criteria, be able to afford these units, and making sure that we're clear in our messaging to the community is vital, because for one, we don't want people who live in this area to think that we're trying to push them out. And it's also important that they know who's developing this project. No matter how much community development you do, you're not going to be able to get in front of everybody who lives in the area, right? And so even though this resident lives in this area and has been living in this area for years, we, for the last 3 years, we've done a lot of community engagement, from surveys to farmers markets, gift card giveaways, you name it, and mail outs. But we have yet to, and or never will, once again, get in front of every resident in the community. So me having an opportunity to stop that resident while they were walking down the street and sparking a conversation allowed for me to introduce myself roughly close to 4 years after, roughly 3.5 years after we were awarded the project, and gave me an opportunity to reassure her that this project is not meant to displace and or is not designed to bring people in and from outside the city. Of course, we need tenants, but these aren't market rate units. These are designed for people who fit a certain AMI criteria between 50 to 80% area median income. And we want to do our best at making sure we provide affordable units to Detroiters. And that's our goal with this project. On top of that, providing a very unique retail space and or commercial space for the tenants on the first level that the current residents will be able to enjoy for a very long time. So with that said, I appreciate you chiming in and listening to me ramble for a bit. And I think I'm gonna sign off, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.